you promised you would.
I said it would depend on how I felt after I finished shopping, and right now I feel fine.
The doctor's right over there. Won't you please go in and see him for me?
Audra, dear, I promise you, the minute Dr. Moreau gets home from his vacation, I'll go in and have a complete checkup.
I don't understand. No one in this town will take a chance on a new doctor.
Now, this new doctor, he wouldn't be young and handsome, would he?
I don't know,
but you've heard that he is, and you'd like to find out for yourself, hmm?
Mother, how could you think... Anyway, you haven't any objections to going to a young, good-looking doctor, have you?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
I'll be out in a moment. Please be seated.
Vienna School of Medicine. Very impressive. I wonder why he came here.
Well, whatever the reason, I think the people in this town should be glad that he did come to Stockton. He could have gone elsewhere.
Yes, I suppose he could have.
I'm afraid that chemical reactions over a Bunsen burner don't have the courtesy to wait while a doctor greets his patients. How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm Dr. Belden, and I'm most sorry to have kept you waiting.
Well, I hope we didn't interrupt anything important.
I assure you, you have not. Mrs.
Barkley, Victoria Barkley. This is my daughter, Audra.
So nice to meet you, Doctor.
It's entirely my pleasure. You know, in the short time I've been here, I've heard more about your family than I have about Stockton.
Well, I wouldn't believe everything I've heard.
Please, make yourselves comfortable.
Doc. Found him hanging in the livery stable. He was barely breathing when I cut him down.
This way.
Mr. Gibbons?
That's right.
Everett Gibbons tried to take his own life?
No. The way he was tied up, somebody tried for him.
Easy. If you'll wait outside, please.
Victoria, I'm sorry you had to see this. I know you and Everett have been friends for many years.
30 years.
Well, I gotta be going. Doc, thanks. You did the best you could, considering.
Considering? What, I wonder? Dr. Moreau might have been able to save him if he'd been here. If I were, perhaps, 20 years older, more experienced.
Doctor, when I was a child, I had a filly colt that was struck by lightning. And when she died, and for a long time after that, I blamed those that tried to save her. You see, I didn't understand. Understanding takes time. A great deal of time.
Perhaps.
People have to get to know you.
Doctor, tomorrow evening I'm having the publisher of the Stockton paper for dinner. Won't you join us?
Well, thank you. I'd like to very much.
Good. Shall we say 7:30?
7:30 it is. Thank you again.
Mother, didn't you want to ask the doctor something about yourself?
Ask me what?
She hasn't been feeling well these past few days.
Oh, it's nothing serious. I have been a little bit under the weather.
You were running a fever last night.
Only because it was very warm and I was tired. And if I don't look well now, Doctor, it's because it's lunchtime and I'm very hungry.
Well, if you're sure, you know it'll only take...
No, it won't be necessary, Doctor. My children have a tendency to over-worry about my health. They don't know I plan to outlive them all. Good day.
Good day.
There you are, Martin.
Thank you, Victoria.
More cake.
Oh, no thanks. However, I could use a spot of brandy in this coffee if Jared would have a mind.
Just as soon as I put this 12 ball in a corner pocket.
Then I'll help myself. That'll cost you.
And you, too, if the good doctor's eye is as sharp as it's been all evening.
I'm afraid it's more a question of pure luck than a sharp eye. I haven't played pool in years, not since my father taught me as a boy.
Easy now. You're holding your cue too tight, son. Yeah, that's better. Nice shot, son. You're getting pretty good. Before I know it, you'll be showing me how it's done.
Oh, no, Father. It'll be a long time before anybody can come near you in a game of billiards.
Thank you. But don't advertise that around town. I'm a banker, and some people think that billiards is a game invented by the devil. They expect a banker to be a saint, you know. Truth is, saints don't make good bankers.
Was he, Doctor? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your concentration. I was just wondering if your father was as cautious as you are.
My father wasn't cautious in the least. A 12 ball in the corner.
Your father did a good job. You're winning, sir. Now, how about a chance to recoup?
You, baby. I've still got a special edition to put to bed.
A special edition? What about Martin?
Eb Gibbons' murder.
Oh?
Is there some new development?
You might say that. Sheriff found a note in the livery stable yesterday. Killer must have pinned it to Ev's body and it fell off. It was done in straw. Oh, wait a minute here. I made a tracing of it.
For what they did together, all will die as he did. Well, that looks like the scroll length of a child.
I know.
Now, obviously, the meaning didn't come from the mind of a child.
But what they did together, all will die. Kind of sounds like he intends to kill again.
Yeah, that's what we're afraid of.
Sounds frightening.
Yes, I know, Audrey. But the one thing about a killer is that he always trips himself up. Well, I've got to go.
Oh.
Victoria, it's been delightful as always. And I wish you'd invite me more often. We don't see enough of each other. You know, you've been looking a mite on the pale side this evening. I've never known you not to have roses in those cheeks.
I never felt better.
Don't bother to show me out. I know the way. Jared, Audrey. Good night. Nice meeting you, Doctor. Oh, I'll see we get your name in print so folks will know you're around.
Thank you.
Night, Victoria.
Good night.
Well, I'd better be running along, too.
Oh, can't you stay for another cup of coffee?
Thank you, but it is getting late, and Mr. Erskine is right. You are looking a little pale. May I suggest some rest? There have been a few cases of influenza going around.
Oh, I'm sure it's nothing but a slight cold, but thank you for your concern. And thank you for coming tonight.
This has been the most delightful evening I've spent since I've been in Stockton. Good night, Audrey. Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night.
I'll see you to the door.
I'm almost done, Father. Only one more.
Audra?
Jared, what are you doing up so late?
I was doing some reading and dozed off. What's your excuse, young lady? Do you realize it's past 3 o'clock in the morning?
Jared, I'm worried about Mother. She's been restless all night, and now she has a fever.
A fever? All right, I'll ride into town, get Doc Belton out here right away. Sheriff.
Jared, I know it's late, but this is very important.
Yes, of course. Come on in.
Thanks. Well, it's happened again. Martin Erskine was killed tonight.
What? How did it happen?
Same way. I found him in his office. He'd been hanged just like Gibbons.
It's impossible to believe. Was there another note?
Yeah. Yeah, there was. That's why I'm here tonight. Read it.
This is number 2. Sweet dreams. Victoria Barkley. You're number 3.
Jared, what was your mother's connection with Evan Martin?
None. None at all, except that they were friends. Good friends.
Yeah, I know that. But beyond that, that first note said, for what they did together, all will die as he did. Now, were they partners in anything? In business or something?
Never.
Hmm. Jared, I think you better get your mother down here. We got to talk.
No, Sheriff. I don't want to wake her. She hasn't been feeling well, and this would only...
Yeah, well, all right, but we got to talk to her as soon as possible. Meanwhile, she's got to have protection.
I'll take care of that. Nick's out on the West Range. I think I'll get him back here, too.
Well, that's a good idea. How about Heath?
No, he's up in the hills chasing Mustangs. There's no way to reach him. Sheriff, do you mind if I make a tracing of this?
No, right ahead. Think someone might recognize the handwriting?
I plan to find out.
It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable. First, Mr. Gibbons, then Erskine, and now your mother.
Now, don't worry about her. She'll be well protected.
Yes, of course. And you did the right thing in not telling her.
I'm sure it's nothing serious with Mother, but we'd all feel better if you take a look at it.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Good. Thanks, Doc. By the way, Audra doesn't know about the note either. I think it's better to leave it that way until we have some answers.
I won't say a thing to her.
Good. Maybe I'll see you at the ranch later. When'd you get here, Nick?
Oh, about a half hour ago.
Mac fill you in?
Yeah, everything about it. I just told Audra I got home sooner than I expected is all. Anything new?
Oh, not really. I took the note over to Emily Pearson, see if she might recognize the handwriting.
Looks like it was written by some kid.
It wasn't written by a kid, but whoever wrote it wants us to think that. Doc Belden is still here?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, at first he thought it was influenza. But now he knows it's pneumonia.
You looked up, son. That's why you missed.
I guess I don't feel much like playing. I was thinking about what Mother said at dinner tonight.
Son, I did what I thought was right. As a banker, I had certain responsibilities. A little more time, everything would have been fine. I'd have been a hero instead of... Your mother called me fool, didn't she?
Whatever she thinks, she's wrong. I know she's wrong.
Thank you, son. If you believe that, then I'm not alone. I'll never be alone.
You're not alone, Father.
There's someone in here.
No, there's no one here, Mrs. Barkley. Perhaps you heard someone in the hall.
What is that?
Something to make you sleep.
No, I don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep.
Please, Mrs. Barkley.
Doctor.
You're ill. This will help you.
I want to see my family. Where are my sons, my daughter? I want to see them. Please, doctor, please. They are my reason for living, don't you understand? If you take them away from me, if you don't let me see them, I will die. No. Oh, I'm sitting there. Jared.
You'll sleep now, Mrs. Barkley. Yes?
Dr. Belden, it's Audrey. May I come in? Dr. Belden? Dr. Belden?
You'll live now, Mrs. Barkley, I promise. You've just given me every reason for a mother to live.
Is something wrong?
No. No, she's sleeping.
Doctor, you look tired. Why don't you get some rest?
Oh, you're the one who needs rest. Please, why don't you try to sleep? I'll call you if there's any change.
Oh, no, really, I couldn't. Nick will show you where the guest room is.
Well, if you insist, I'll nap for a few minutes on the sofa in the hall. All we can do now is wait.
Doctor? Won't you come in, Doctor?
Oh, Audrey. No. That can't be the same patient I saw there a little while ago.
Hello, doctor.
Would you look at him? I just can't believe it.
Yes? There's no doubt about it. The fever's broken. You ought to be able to celebrate in a few days if you do exactly as I say. The temperature seems to be normal now, but it's very important that you keep warm. And rest, plenty of rest, along with a teaspoon of this every 3 hours.
Audrey says you've been here since 4 o'clock.
For this moment, I would gladly have come sooner.
Thank you very much, doctor.
No thanks are necessary. I only did what had to be done. Oh, when this bottle's used up, would you stop by my office? I'll refill it.
Afternoon, Jared. Nick?
Afternoon.
Oh, well, how's your mother feeling?
Much better, thanks. Be up and around in a couple of days.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. Nick, things been quiet around here?
Yeah. What brings you out, Sheriff?
This telegram came from Martin Erskine this morning.
From Martin?
Yeah.
Janet Davis died insane 2 years ago. Whereabouts of son unknown. Would have answered sooner, but the catfish are biting. Regards, Jackson, St. Louis Courier.
So?
I didn't think much about it at first, Nick, but then I realized that Martin telegraphed St. Louis just hours after we found Everett Gibbons in the livery stable.
Janet Davis. You know, it's funny, I remember that name, but I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I wired that Jackson fella in St. Louis, and here's the answer I got. Shocked over tragic death of Martin Erskine. Regarding Janet Davis, suggest you refer to Stockton Eagle bank files for full account on her husband, Emery Davis, and Miner's bank failure.
Miner's bank? That was years ago.
Yeah, well, I think we ought to investigate this whole thing further.
All right. Best place to start would be Martin's office.
Good. I'll meet you back in town. Fine.
Nick, I'll spell you just as soon as I get back.
Jared? Are you going into town? I have to get Mother some medicine. Can I go with you?
Why, Miss Barkley, I should be delighted to have your enchanting company.
Nick, where'd the sheriff want?
Well, we lost a couple of head of cattle, and, well, he had a couple of leads he thought we should know about.
Your carriage awaits?
Oh, what is all that with the hand kissing?
Crude fellow. Knows nothing of continental manners? Giddy up.
Continental man.
Ooh, I'll be in my office for a few hours, so I'll pick you up about 3, all right?
Fine, I have some shopping to do anyway.
Giddy up.
Audra, if you're planning to go in and see that doctor, well, I just wouldn't advise it. Oh, the nerve!
Mrs. DeCoven, what happened?
In 20 years, Dr. Marrar never asked me to take my clothes off. Audra, I warned you now.
Audra.
Dr. Belden, shame on you. I just saw Mrs. DeCoven.
Oh. Well, unfortunately, I'm discovering that diagnostic techniques have advanced more rapidly than some patients' understanding. I trust that your mother is improving.
Well, she doesn't want to stay in bed any longer, and she's starting to give orders again.
Ah, that's a sure sign of recovery.
Yes, thanks to you.
She's a good patient. And I might add, she has a very competent nurse by her side.
Well, I did try to keep after her to take her medicine. She finished it this morning.
Good. I'll refill it. Just take a few minutes.
Nothing. Keep this up much longer. I'm going to need glasses. What are you doing?
Just going through these indexes again. Martin published a pretty good newspaper, but he sure didn't know anything about keeping records. G's filed under W. Here, take a look at this. First Zeldin's obituary, filed under O. Now, wait a minute. O for obituary.
Well, we looked under D for Davis. Where do you suppose it'd be?
I don't know. Why don't you start over here? I'll take these, and we'll check every file in here.
Oh, there we are.
Thank you. Well, I know you must be busy, so I'd better be going.
I was thinking of taking the day off. Maybe taking a quiet drive through your beautiful countryside. I find that most relaxing.
That sounds lovely.
I was thinking, perhaps you'd do me the honor of joining me?
Well, thank you, but I'm supposed to meet my brother at 3.
I'll have you back before 3, I promise.
Well,
The idea doesn't appeal to you?
on the contrary, I'd love to go.
Wonderful. Wonderful. If you just wait outside, I'll close up the office.
something wrong, Doctor?
Well, for one thing, that doctor, it's pretty formal under the circumstances. Do you suppose we could make it Jim?
All right, Jim.
That's better. Audra, there's an old ranch house down that road. I've been there on several occasions. It fascinates me. Would you like to see it?
If you'd like.
Or perhaps you'd rather go on.
No, I'd like to see it.
Good. Good.
Despondent over failure of the Miners Bank, which closed its doors after this newspaper revealed that Davis had overextended the bank's capitalization, investing in worthless mining ventures. Heavy withdrawals created a run on the bank and forced its closure when depositors learned that the principal investors, namely Everett Givens and Victoria Barkley, had withdrawn their funds in support for what they did together.
Martin made a note here. See follow-up June 15th. Jared, here it is. Widow leaves town. Mrs. Emery Janet Davis, with her 9-year-old son, departed this morning's stage, eastbound for St. Louis, presumably to take up new residence in that city. The Davis family holdings, including the ranch home northeast of town, have been turned over to the county clerk for disposition. Well, that must be that old place that the county is always trying to sell every year for taxes.
Yeah. Son finds body hanging in study. Sheriff, why don't we get a couple of horses and take a little ride?
You know, Audra, there's something about being here. It must be the quiet. As though time's standing still. Any man who would build something like this must have had a wife. Children. I mean, look around. Isn't this an expression of love?
You have quite an imagination.
Perhaps.
Next week, it'll belong to the county. Because your father has been disgraced.
No. My father's a fine man. Nobody can say bad things about him.
They don't understand, son. You're the only one who understands.
Jim?
What?
You did want to show me around, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, of course. Why else would I bring you here? You must imagine the house as it was. paint and paper, comfortable furniture, and there was always a fire in the fireplace.
Right now, that's not too easy to imagine.
Really, I can see it very clearly.
This looks like it was a billiard room.
Yes, this was the billiard room.
Jimmy, you all right?
Yes. Perhaps you'd prefer to see the kitchen. It's back that way.
Fine.
Jim, I thought you were helping your father pack.
No, he's still in his study. I didn't want to disturb him.
Nonsense. It's time to leave. You'd better go tell him.
All right, Mother. I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
Don't be frightened. I'm not going to hurt your mother. No. No, that would be senseless. Waste. She as much as said so herself, you know. Her death would prove nothing. Oh. What yours? Roger! You see, your mother would suffer then. As he suffered. And as my mother suffered. You see? Audra. It won't take long. No. Audra. It won't take long. I told you, it won't take long at all. And you see, Father would be so pleased. Shut! You put it. Listen to me. It'll be quick. I promise you. I'm a doctor. I wouldn't hurt you. Audra, I couldn't hurt you, please. Audra! Listen to me! Now the others. Gibbons. Martin Erskine. No, I didn't care. I didn't care about them. They deserve what they got, but you... You know, be different with you. Don't you understand? I don't want to do it. But I must. No, no, no! Yes? Father expects it. Yes, I must. I can't let him down. I got to do it for him.
You're insane!
Oh, no, don't say that. That's not true. I mean, he wouldn't believe you. He wouldn't. Please.
Help! Somebody please help me!
Audra. Audra! Audra, you don't understand.
That sounded like Belden.
Yeah, around back. Listen to me, I have to. Father expects it.
Belden!
Who are you? Go away. You know right here. You better get off this ranch. This is my father's ranch, you know.
Where's Audra? What have you done with her?
Nothing. I haven't done anything. I guess she didn't like it here. Why'd she run away? Go away! You hear me? Go away!
Hold it, Doc. Right there.
I'll tell. You can't stop me. You know right. You can't stop me. Go away!
How's Audra?
Oh, she's hungry. Silas brought her a bowl of soup, but she'd have none of that. I think she wants a steak about 3 inches thick.
Well, that's a good sign. Where is she?
She's in the gunroom with Mother.
Oh. Remember, Chef, she likes it nice and rare. Well, you ladies are looking lovely this evening.
Jared?
Mother, Audra?
Is it over?
Yes, Audra, it's over. We buried him beside his father.
It's all so hard to believe. He seems so kind, so gentle.
Audra.
You know, I've been thinking about those notes he left. It's almost as though he wanted someone to stop him, wanted to be caught.
Jared, maybe someday there will be a better understanding of things like this.
Maybe. Well, I am starved. I think I'll join you in one of those 3-inch steaks. Now, why can't I do that when I'm playing for money?
at them corset advertisements?
You've been away from town too long.
It's the first time you've been right in 2 months. Tell me some more about them gold nuggets, Gabe.
I only said that there was some good paying mines around here, so the pecking should have been real good.
All right, well, we tried your way, now we try mine. I'd like to see what one of them corsets looks like when it's all filled out.
That sort of fun takes the kind of gold dust we didn't find.
We can't come up no emptier than we have. How far Sacramento?
For me, 6 months in jail. The sheriff made that real clear if he ever saw me again. What about Frisco?
Hey, I know a better place. That's closer. You ever been to Stockton?
The girls are prettier in Frisco.
Yeah, so are they in Reno. And I'm a dead man if I show my face in either place. Just take it from me, Gabe. They never pull in the sidewalks in Stockton.
Well, I'm ready for anything. Let's get going.
Take it easy with that. You don't want to knock the gild off the frame.
Now, you're sure about this, Nick?
I promise you she'll love it. All right, let's see it. Oh, no, not now. Right now. Well, no, I've got it all wrapped up. Now, why can't you wait till we get home? Now, look, this is a present for Mother from all of us. So after I've seen it, I'll tell you whether my name goes on the card or not. Have you seen it?
Well, we got Nick's word. It's a good picture.
Yeah, well, I'll take his word for hoof and mouth disease, but art is another matter.
Well, now that you put it that way, you want to do it or shall I?
Allow me. I do all the work and I get all the complaints. A picture of a roundup? Now, there's something she really needs. I like it.
You paid too much for it.
What do you mean I paid too much for it? The fellow down in the gallery said this fellow here, Charles Russell, well, when he dies, it's going to be worth a fortune.
Yeah, we take the loss or go gunning for him right now.
It's a mighty big calendar. Where's the numbers?
What are you talking about, calendar?
Why, they're giving them away at the store.
I'm taking the first train back to San Francisco. Hey, wait a minute, Nick. We've got the original here. Seems to me that this makes that the valuable picture.
Lucked out again.
What do you mean, lucked out again? I told you I liked it. Come on, let's get it on home.
Mrs. Barkley asked me to stop at the Anderson Ranch for something. I guess it'll take me about an hour before I'm back.
Oh, good. You go on, Silas. Now that we're big art collectors, our celebration seems to be in order. Wrap it up, Nick. Wrap it up, Silas. Mighty fancy clothes.
Always dressed for Sunday.
Well, that's what separates aristocrats from us colonials.
Well, I always was partial to thoroughbreds.
Now, you're not going to go make a jackass out of yourself again, are you?
Well, I just might.
$1, he doesn't get one word out of her.
You're on. Get out of here. Take at least 4.
Good morning, mademoiselle. I'd like to ask you a favor. I'd like to have your opinion on a painting I bought up in San Francisco.
Good morning, Barkley.
Marquis?
Papa, it seems that Mr. Barkley is trying to bring culture to Stockton.
You have assumed a monumental task for yourself, monsieur.
Oh?
Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Hey, boss! Boss. When will these clods learn a marquis never called a boss?
We got problems, boss. A forest fire broke out just east of Granite City.
What is the danger to the mine?
What about the town? They're trying to build fire breaks. If they don't hold, your mine will go, Nick, and so will the town.
All right, everybody, let's settle down. Quiet. Get on with this.
Gentlemen, most of us here are miners, so we've all got the same problem. Wilson, you saw it. Suppose you give us the bad news.
Well, it's like I told the boss here. I never saw worse. Those flames were jumping dry creek beds. Now, there ain't no handmade fire breaks gonna stop it.
All right, Wilson. That is our situation, gentlemen. Now we must agree on a procedure to save the mines.
It seems to me that our first consideration is to save Granite City.
I hope you're not insinuating that the lives of those people are of no concern to me.
Then I take it we're agreed. If we save the town, the people there can help us rebuild the mines.
Let us examine relative values, Mr. Barkley. The timbering of each of our mines is infinitely more expensive to replace than all the shacks in Granite City.
But if a shack is all a man owns, it's as important to him as a mine to us.
Gentlemen, we are wasting time on a side issue. A big enough fire break would save both the town and the mines.
Look, boss, I'll match my time on an axe handle with anybody here. But with every man jack in the valley, we can't build a fire break big enough or fast enough.
I'm not thinking of using an axe to make a fire break. There's a better way. Nitroglycerin.
It's a good idea. Who's going to carry it?
Mr. Carter will, for one. He's the best nitro man in the mother lode.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Hold on here. Charlie, you won't be taking that stuff to a nice, cool mine, you know. You'll be taking it right in the middle of a forest fire.
Nick, I know what I'm doing.
So do we. And you're killing yourself.
He's an expert. And he's taking a risk. For $2,000. On the mine owner's behalf, I have agreed to have the money waiting in the bank.
Charlie, I don't know what your problem is, but whatever it isn't worth it.
Jared, I need the money. You won't be doing me a favor by killing this deal.
Carter will need help. Who else could use $2,000?
Me and my brother, Norval, will go.
Yeah, that's right.
Any others? Will that be enough?
It'll have to be.
Now, may I have a show of hands from the mine owners on contributions to pay these gentlemen?
You'll be doing me a favor. All right now, nice and easy.
Yes, sir, Mr. Carter.
Ever handled nitro before?
I've never handled $2,000 before, either.
What's we got left?
Enough maybe to fill the rest of the 4 bottles, huh?
Oh, miss, you shouldn't be here.
You're a fine man for risking your life for the brethren.
Well, they're doing something for me, too, sister. I'm getting well paid for it.
A workman is worthy of his hire. Have faith. I brought you this.
Oh, well, much obliged, sister.
I'll be praying for you.
Sister, I wish you'd get back where it's safe.
I bought these for you and your brother.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I guess we can use all the help we can get.
Norval, see if you can find some more sacks. Thanks. Thanks very much, fellas.
You're doing a lot more than we are, Charlie.
Hey, miss. You better get back.
It's all right. She came to see me.
Looks like that's why he wanted the 2,000.
How dangerous is it?
Gail, I made you some promises. There's no other way I can keep them.
Am I really worth that much to you?
If I didn't think so, I wouldn't be going.
Oh, come back. Please, come back safe. I need you.
That says how much I need you. Gail, I look in the mirror once in a while, and from what looks back, I never figured I had a chance at something like you. You're worth anything to me.
You'll never be sorry.
Girl, I'm going to do my best to make sure that you aren't either.
I'll be waiting.
All right, Jim, let's go.
Well, that does it.
Call me an old fool if you want, but it's more than I ever had.
Good luck, Charlie.
Charlie.
Steady.
The only way up there? I've seen smoother washboards.
We could have gone by way of Yuba Trail, but it makes this look like a big city street. Just like in the war, son. The bullet that misses you ain't the one to worry about.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Barkley. It's all here, boss. 6,000.
Put it in the bank. Gentlemen, I propose a toast to Carter's success.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Now I got an idea for a toast. Huh? To the Marquis, right? For figuring out how to save the mines. Hmm?
I'll see why not.
Just keep thinking of all the things you can buy when we get back.
We already got it spent. 200 acres of choice bottomland. Back in town, it kind of looked like you had plans, too.
There's ways of being a drifter besides moving from place to place. I figure I've found me an answer.
Them poor fellas, huh? Sure puts a man in need of a drink, don't it? Thank you. Thank you.
I suggest we increase our offer. $3,000 per man.
$3,000.
I will put up the difference from my own money.
One thing, I doubt very much you find one drop of nitro within 100 miles.
Not correct, Mr. Barkley. There are 10 gallons being mixed right now. I wired San Francisco. The railroad is giving us fullest cooperation. A special train will have it here by 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's it, boys. 3,000 a man. Now, you'll never get a better payday. Just step up. Boys, think about it. Now, you won't get many offers like that.
Thank you. I will find men.
You got one man. Me. 3,000. Well, you know what that'd make me? Marquis, please.
That's your answer, Toby. You ain't worth the nitro it would take to blow you up.
That's enough, Rogers.
3,000, you change your tune. You crawl to me. All of you.
I got trouble, boys.
What's the matter, Mac?
My farm's burned, everything.
What are you talking about? Your farm is miles from the fire.
Not anymore. The wind shifted. It isn't just Granite City now. Fire's on its way to Stockton.
fellow once told me that only took 28 pounds of pressure to make nitro blow up. There's more on that right there.
$155 3 minutes. That'll set it off. About that much in a bottle. I'd say that's about a pint. Flatten this whole building. 10 gallons have to be toted right up next to that fire.
That same fella told me he'd seen nitro go off a cliff and not blow up. At the same time, he'd seen it go off for no reason at all.
Well, I've heard people talk about the Barkley luck. Let's hope they're right.
Nitroglycerine? What am I going to say to Mrs. Barkley, Miss Audra?
You're not going to say anything. The less they know about this, the better. No sense getting them worried, too.
What are you asking me to do? Worry all by myself?
Well, now, you're not going to be worrying all by yourself.
But they're going to ask me about you. What am I going to tell them?
Just tell them we're staying in town overnight.
Mr. Heath, you know I can't look Mrs. Barkley in the eye and lie.
But you won't be lying, Silas, because we are staying in town all night, aren't we?
You sure this is what you got to do?
Now, you go on back to the ranch. It'll be safe. The fire can't jump the river.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Don't like it.
You don't like it?
Well, guess maybe we better think about getting some equipment together.
Well, now, the first thing would be horses. Horses that aren't fire shy. I think the best place to find them would be down at the fire station. I'll look into it right away.
What about a wagon?
Well, your smoothest ride would be a stagecoach.
I know something smoother if you fellas aren't superstitious.
What?
Beckett's new hearse.
What?
A hearse?
Thinking about those special-built springs. He had that hearse custom-made in St. Louis. Claims it gives the smoothest ride in town.
You're talking about his pride and joy. You'll never get that away from him. He'd sooner let his wife tote that nitro on her back.
Maybe I can talk him out of it.
He's right, Nick. That's what we need. I'm gonna go over to the office for a little while.
Office?
Yeah, I better get our personal affairs in order. We don't want to leave Mother and Audra with a lot of loose ends.
Check into my will real fast, will you?
That, my friend, was on the top of my list.
I'll get started on that hearse. You gonna come back here after you pick up the horses?
No, I thought I'd run by the Marquis house, check up on time of arrival of that train.
But we already know that.
Well, I think I should check into it anyway.
You gonna tie up a few loose ends yourself, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
French and pretty?
Mm.
Good luck.
Nick, buy you a drink?
Oh, no, I'm going over to the Marquis house.
Wait till the Marquis hears you're going. He'll drown you in a bucket of champagne.
Well, now, I'm more interested in what the mademoiselle's going to do. Toby. Well, Toby, old boy, you can play the big man tonight, even if it's only for one night.
You can count on this team, Nick. Best fire eaters we got.
It's just what we need.
Yes, sir. You get them to a fire, they'll take you into it.
All right, then, can you have them at the livery stable, say 5 o'clock tomorrow morning?
You'll have them harnessed, combed, and curried.
Just well rested, thank you. Well, old fella, I'm sure glad you don't know what you're volunteering for. 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Mr.
Mr. Barkley.
Oh, Mr. Beckett, could I speak to you a minute?
Well, I hope you won't be offended, Mr. Barkley, but I'm in a hurry. I want to get my hearse out of town as soon as possible.
Well, the fact is, that's just what I want to do for you.
Well, that's very kind, Mr. Barkley, and I'm very grateful, but I don't allow anyone to drive this beauty but me.
Well, Mr. Beckett, I won't waste any more of your time. I guess you're the most important man in Stockton right now.
Me?
Well, you see, the safety of this whole town depends on your help. And you help save it, and everyone in Stockton will be beholden to you till the day they die.
They will? Mr. Barkley, I'll do anything I can.
Well, I knew you'd see it just that way, Mr. Beckett. I'll have the blacksmith get busy on your hearse right away.
My hearse?
We need it to cart nitro to the fire.
Nitro? Oh, Mr. Barkley, please.
Well, now, Mr. Beckett, you've been claiming this hearse gives the smoothest ride in town. Now, you weren't lying to folks now, were you?
I've had no complaints.
Well, this whole town will never forget what you did for them. Like you always say, in their hour of sorrow.
Thought you were going to the auxiliary tea.
Got out of it, told them I had a headache, which would have been true had I gone. I don't suppose you'd like to go in my place.
As my dear mother once told me, don't ask anyone to do anything you wouldn't do yourself.
Uh-huh. And as your dear mother also said, ask a foolish question and you'll get a foolish answer.
Speaking of foolish questions, how many candles do you want on your birthday cake?
Well, as long as I've done enough lying for one day. Put them all on. 26.
26?
Well, you're only as old as you feel. And right now, I feel young enough to start all over again.
What would you change?
Not a thing. Now, what could I improve on? My sons? You?
Oh, there have been a few basic suggestions now and then.
Well, as of this moment, you will do just fine.
Better be careful. I'm going to hold that over your head.
Good idea. Until the next time.
It's Silas. Did our painting arrive?
Yes, ma'am, there it is.
Did Jared see it?
He made Mr. Nick open it up.
What'd he say?
He said Mr. Nick made a fine choice.
I'm going to peek at it.
Oh, you don't have to do that, Miss Audra. Here's what it looks like.
Jared passed on this?
It looks a lot better without the dates and the advertisement.
Oh, she sure will be surprised.
Where are the boys, Silas?
They had to stay in town. There's trouble, Miss Barkley. Big trouble.
What kind of trouble?
There's a fire up in Granite City. The wind is bringing it down into the valley. It could reach Stockton.
What's being done to fight it?
Your sons are doing all they can. They say for you and Miss Audrey not to worry.
If the fire does reach Stockton, they're going to need help. Medicine, blankets, bandages. Let's go, Silas.
Mother, the orphanage. I better see if the Padre needs any help.
Bring the children back with you.
Padre in his office?
Yes, Miss Barkley.
Thank you.
Is it true? Are we going to lose our home? Is it going to burn?
Who told you that?
Is it true?
Stop worrying. The fire's a long way from here.
You promise?
I promise.
Audra, how good to see you. Please come in.
The fire, Padre. I thought it might be of some help.
Well, thank you. But we heard it was up in Granite City.
The wind shifted, and they're afraid it's coming here. I assumed you knew from what Mary said.
I'm afraid she was speaking from fear. She lost her family in a fire.
I think they'll be safer at the ranch.
I will tell them.
Mr. Jared Barkley?
Yes?
My name is Gail Miller.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I saw you this morning. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to offer my condolences.
You saw it. Then you know how he felt about me, how we felt about each other.
Well, I assume you both cared a great deal.
Did he tell you about us?
Not exactly. I gathered that he took on the job because of you.
That's why I'm here. They say you're the best lawyer in town.
What do you need a lawyer for?
To get what's coming to me. The bank manager won't believe me.
The bank manager won't believe what, Miss Miller?
That Carter was going to marry me. We were going to start out on that $2,000. You've got to make them give me that money.
Well, I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I'm not in a position to take on any new cases right at the moment.
Oh, please. Please, I'm desperate. I quit my job at the saloon, everything, to get our home ready. I haven't a cent.
You have to understand the bank's position. The two weren't married. That eliminates any automatic right of inheritance. Unless, of course, he left a written will. Please, Miss Miller, don't do that. There is one other possibility. Did he state to anyone that he wanted you to have his property?
Well, he told you.
Well, that was just an assumption on my part. I couldn't swear to it under oath.
But you're a lawyer. A big man. They'd believe anything you said.
Are you asking me to lie for you?
Name your own fee.
All I can do is wish you the best of luck.
What do you know about luck? I only wish I'm around when yours runs out.
Yes, monsieur.
Oh, I come to see the Marquis.
The Marquis is not at home, monsieur.
Well, then I guess I'll just have to wait for him.
Monsieur, I meant the Marquis is home.
Oh!
But not receiving.
Ah.
Good evening, monsieur.
Well, wait a minute. As a matter of fact, I'm here to see Miss Lacaze.
Oh. Is the mademoiselle expecting you?
Well, I wasn't expecting to be here myself.
If monsieur will give me his calling card, I will see if the mademoiselle is at home for you.
Calling card. Well, it seems though I left it in my other pants. Well, couldn't you just tell her I'm here?
That is not the custom of his household, monsieur.
Wait a minute, hold it. We Barkleys also have a custom, my friend.
We don't like to be shoved.
Good evening, Mr. Barkley. How nice of you to call.
Well, I was just,
Henri, why don't you relieve the gentleman of his plant?
I'm, oh, sorry about this. It's all my fault. It was just a little misunderstanding over calling cards.
The fault is mine. I should have informed Henri that a Barkley is always welcome. That will be all, Henri. In fact, I've often wondered why you never called before.
Oh, well, I guess it was just another little misunderstanding.
Perhaps now that you're here, would you do me the honor of joining me for dinner?
Well, I have to talk to your father about something.
Can it wait till tomorrow? My father is in his room. This trouble with the mine has upset him terribly.
Oh, I agree. We shouldn't disturb him tonight, no.
And you'd be doing me a great favor. I hate to dine alone.
You'd be doing me a favor. Besides, I can't think of a nicer way to spend an evening, mademoiselle.
Michel.
Nick.
Beckett? Well, howdy, it sure is a fine thing you're doing, Mr. Beckett.
Those were my guarantee of privacy.
Yes, sir, a fine thing. We'll have to take those windows out.
The windows?
It's gonna be a rough trip, that glass will crack.
Look, Heath, I've got an idea that'll make this trip a whole lot safer.
Well, you're talking to the right man.
You've got a better wagon?
No? But you don't want to be falling down tired when you're carrying that nitro.
No argument there.
None whatsoever.
Good. Then you go clean up and get some rest.
Well, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Maybe a good hot tub's the answer for tomorrow. See you later.
I thought you said there was a lot of excitement around this town. I've seen more excitement at a church social.
Well, last time I was here, it was wide open.
Well, maybe it won't be an entire loss.
What, her?
It's better than nothing.
Would you mind stepping aside, gentlemen?
We're only trying to be friendly, ma'am.
Would you mind moving?
Come on, sister, where's your brotherly love?
Please.
Hey, just because you carry that tambourine doesn't mean you're not interested in the man, does it?
Man. If you're a man, you'd be out doing something about that fire instead of just wasting time.
Fire? The only fire I see is in them pretty eyes of yours. That don't scare me none. Let me see you prove you're a real woman.
She knows what she wants, and it ain't you.
Leave that wildcat to me.
Sister, I'll take you to the saloon now.
Saloon? What are you talking about? I've never been in a saloon in my life.
Well, I bet you never had your dress torn off from the street before either.
Oh, please, go away.
Look, I'm just trying to be helpful. There are rooms in the back.
Yes, I've heard about them.
One of the ladies can sew on your dress.
I don't need any help from them, or you either. Why don't you just go away? Just go away.
Like that.
Told you we didn't need a butler. Didn't spill a drop. You know, you're proving this whole valley right. Did you know that?
In what way?
Well, they keep talking about the Barkley luck.
Is it really as good as they say it is?
Well, now, they haven't even scratched the surface yet. You know, I came here this evening expecting to storm the Bastille. But I was met by French hospitality at its very best. And nothing lost in the translation either.
Nick, have you ever been to Paris?
No.
If you had, you'd understand Papa better. We lost everything with the fall of Louis Napoleon. This is like exile for him.
One man's drink is another man's poison.
He doesn't really hate it. He just can't stand to lose the life he was born to.
Well, then he's fighting a losing battle. You know, I had some friends in the South before the war. And they hated to lose the life they loved. But it's hard to hold on to something that doesn't exist anymore.
With the mine, he's trying to recreate it.
Oh, now, this is a very special evening for me. Let's talk about something special.
What would you suggest?
You and me.
I'd like that. You said talk. I am sorry Papa isn't feeling well enough to join us.
Shell, that's part of the Barkley luck I was talking about. Even now, any minute I figure he's going to come crashing in here and spoil a very beautiful dream.
Nick, you're a remarkable man. You talk about luck when you're about to lose your mind. We too are about to lose ours, but you still find time to talk about dreams.
Well, our family always figured you do something about your dreams, you help your luck.
That's what Papa says. If you're willing to pay the price, you can get anything you want out of life.
A cigar, Mr. Barkley.
Well, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I'm quite used to men smoking.
Thank you, thank you.
That will be all for tonight, Harvey.
Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
Bonne nuit. I understand you're quite an expert with nitroglycerin.
Well, now, whatever gave you that idea?
You don't give Papa his due credit. He's much more aware of the people around here than they think.
Well, now, I suggest you follow your papa's advice. There's nothing quite like awareness.
Nick, we have a great deal in common, your family and mine.
More than I thought.
No, I mean our gold mines in Granite City.
Oh, I thought you meant something else we had in common.
Nick, we have all the time in the world for that. After that terrible fire is out. Papa says you're the only one man in the valley who might do it.
Before I said I was afraid your father may interrupt this beautiful dream. I guess he already has, huh?
Not Papa. That ghastly fire.
There's nothing anyone can do about it now.
But everything, Chérie. You said it yourself. One must do something about his dreams.
Tomorrow.
If you would but promise that.
Promise what, Michelle?
Take the nitroglycerin. Papa says you're the one, the best one to do it.
And what do you say?
I say anything, Chérie.
Including yes?
Including yes.
Funny, I was afraid that my manners wouldn't be good enough for you. I thought that would bring a speedy recovery. Nobility, huh? Well, I've had smoother deals put to me by dance hall girls. And even they weren't peddled by their fathers.
It's Mr. Barkley to you, fella.
Monsieur, you misunderstood. And your insinuation is insulting.
Is it? Well, you might be interested to know, Marquis, that you didn't have to drag your daughter through the mud. My brothers and I had decided to take that nitro before I came here this evening.
Boer.
Is he, Papa?
Of course. Nouveau riche. Bourgeois. I should have anticipated that they would try to protect their money.
Nouveau riche. Bourgeois. Papa, do they value their money more highly than we value ours? Papa, what did we just prove? Answer me. Tell me. I want to know. Where was our nobility?
How dare you ask me that?
What you just asked me to do gives me the right. Papa, how are we better than they are? When you introduce me as the Right Honorable Michel de la Chaise, what am I supposed to be proud of?
1,000 years of a name that is the history of France.
Did the first La Chaise do more than the Barkleys have done? If this was a monarchy, wouldn't Nick be a count?
Claude, how dare you put us on the same level with him?
The same level? Who's got more dignity now, he or you? You said it, Papa. Convince him he should go. Shouldn't we be happy? He's going. Shall we drink to success? You won't mind using his glass, will you?
You're emotional. Tomorrow you will see things in a different light.
Jared, I got some bad news. When that wagon blew up, it cleaned out everything in sight for a half a mile.
I'm not surprised.
Including the Lasso Bridge. Only way up to that fire now is by the Yuba Trail.
That's twice as far.
And a lot rougher. You'll have to move twice as fast if you're going to get there in time to do any good.
Now some scenes from part 2 of Explosion.
You ain't no little bride, you know. You're back here working.
You make me sick!
What's the matter? This one's leaking.
Now, what are you trying to hide from me?
But I promise.
Silas, you know I am going into town, and you know I hate surprises.
Your son's going to blow a fire break.
Don't let him get away now here. With these two horses coming down on top of me, I was about to say the same to you.
Yeah.